Okay, welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're diving into a seriously fascinating source text called Hidden Scars. I want you to just picture this for a second. Imagine a beautiful, cinematic, firelit cave. The wind is howling outside, but inside, it's just the soft crackle of flames. Sitting by that fire is a guy named Fletcher, who honestly represents pretty much all of us right now, completely exhausted by modern life. And sitting right across from him, Zoran, a wise, ancient dragon. In this text, Zoran acts as this master guide, breaking down the profound biological toll of what he calls the modern sympathetic storm. And we're going to look at exactly how chronic stress physically rewires us, and, more importantly, how we can rewire it back. Let me ask you something. Are you living in an unnamed storm? Just be really honest with yourself for a second here. If you're dealing with modern burnout or that constant digital overstimulation, or even just this weird lingering sense of threat that you can't quite shake, you are absolutely not alone. Look, our bodies are dealing with a massive evolutionary mismatch. We're out here navigating endless emails, social media comparisons, and unresolved traumas, but we're doing it with nervous systems built for the Stone Age. We feel this storm every single day, but we rarely understand what it's actually doing beneath our skin. And that brings us to Zoran's incredible insight. So Fletcher actually asks the dragon what happens if this sympathetic storm, our fight or flight response, is just always running. And Zoran hits him with this incredible quote. He says, "It leaves scars, not on the skin, on the circuitry." This right here, this is the foundational revelation of our whole explainer today. Chronic stress isn't just some fleeting emotion, right? It's not just waking up in a bad mood. It is a literal, measurable, structural event that physically alters the architecture of our bodies. Okay, let's dive into this. Part 1, the tiger that never leaves. When your sympathetic nervous system basically becomes your baseline, your body adapts exactly the way evolution designed it to. Your amygdala, which is your brain's alarm center, actually grows. It gets hypersensitive. It overdevelops, kind of like a muscle you're training way too much. It becomes this guard dog that barks at literally every little shadow. But meanwhile, the parts of your brain you actually really need, they shrink. Under this constant flood of cortisol, the hippocampus, the part that handles memory and context, it dims, it shrinks down, your past turns into a fog. And your prefrontal cortex, which is your reasoning and impulse control center, it actually weakens and loses blood flow. So when Fletcher hears this, he has this kind of bleak realization. He asks Zoran, wait, so stress makes us dumber? But Zoran corrects him right away. Actually, scratch that. It doesn't make us dumber. It makes us less flexible, less creative, and way more likely to repeat old patterns. You aren't losing your intelligence at all. Your biology is just trapped in a reactive survival mode. It's narrowing your perspective so you can survive what it thinks is an immediate threat. All right, moving down the body into part 2, the heart's flattened rhythm. To understand how the heart gets scarred, we really have to look at heart rate variability, or HRV. Now, when your parasympathetic system, that's your rest and digest mode, is strong, a healthy heart actually dances. It varies. Surprisingly, a perfectly steady metronome-like heart rate is actually a sign of stress, while a highly variable one is a sign of adaptability and resilience. But under chronic stress, this vital variability absolutely plummets. The dance stops, and the rhythm becomes incredibly rigid. And this brilliantly illustrates Zoran's larger point here. He says, your heart is not a pump, it is a conductor. Think about that. When your heart rhythm flattens out and loses its variability, it dictates the rhythm of your entire life. A flattened heart rhythm leaves a person biologically brittle. They become way less able to regulate their emotions, less able to connect with other people, and fundamentally incapable of just feeling safe in their own body. They lose the capacity for deep connection because the conductor of their body is just playing this single, monotonous note of survival. Which brings us to part 3, the body's silent rebellion. So your immune system is obviously designed to protect you, right? But chronic stress completely confuses it. Cytokines flood into your bloodstream and inflammation rises dramatically. And why? Because the body's literally gearing up for a physical injury that never actually comes. The immune system turns into this hypervigilant, totally confused soldier. Eventually, since there's no actual tiger to fight, it starts attacking everything. Or it attacks nothing. Autoimmune disorders start to bloom. The healing process slows way down. Like Zoran tells Fletcher, stress is sickness. It's just slow and visible and totally socially acceptable. Now we guide our journey inward for part 4, the fragile structure of identity. Fletcher asks the ultimate question here. What about the sense of self? Like, how does this biological storm, the shrinking brain, the rigid heart, the confused immune system, how does all of that impact your actual identity? Basically, who do you become when your body is at war? So the crucial point is captured perfectly right here. Deep in the brain, there's something called the default mode network, or DMN. It's the part of your brain that lights up when you're daydreaming or just thinking about yourself. Well, when you are chronically stressed, the DMN starts telling darker stories. It ruminates, your self-criticism gets super sharp, and through pure repetition, those dark stories become your beliefs, and those beliefs become your identity. Most of us spend our entire lives mistaking a rigid, stress-shaped identity for the ultimate truth of who we are. You're probably not naturally a harsh or closed-off person. You're just looking at yourself through the lens of a hyperactive sympathetic nervous system.
And this brings us to this moment of just pure, merciful clarity from the dragon. We are suffering from miscalibration, not weakness. You are not broken. We were simply designed for short bursts of danger followed by long, restorative stretches of recovery. But modern life, it gives us endless danger. The notifications, the 24/7 news cycle, the pressure, and it has completely stripped the recovery away. So remember, it is a calibration issue, not a character flaw.
Okay, Section 5, Mapping Your Hidden Scars.
The beautiful thing about circuitry is that it can be rewired, and Zoran gives us a really practical exercise to do exactly that. I want you to walk through this step by step tonight, or really whenever the storm in your life gets quiet enough to let you focus. Grab a notebook and write down 3 headings: brain, heart, and immune system. Under each one, ask yourself, frankly, how has chronic stress changed me physically and emotionally? Be really specific here. Write down things like, my memory is worse, or I'm snapping at the people I love, or maybe I'm just getting sick way more often. Maybe you write, I feel tired even when I sleep, and I just do not trust calm. Get it all out and map it all down. Because as you look at that list, I really want you to remember this. These are not flaws. They are scars, and every single scar can be rewired. By naming them, by seeing them as biological adaptations instead of personal failures, you actually begin the process of reclaiming your circuitry. You can totally rebuild your brain's flexibility, restore the dance of your heart, and calm that immune system. The storm does not have to be your forever home. So I'll leave you with this provocative thought. Are you finally ready to step out of the storm, map out your hidden scars, and begin your own biological reboot?